Right, so just start, yeah, whenever I'm ready. Cool. 3, 2, 1, we're in. This 11 has gone out, smashed on 6. Can I start again, mate? Shit intro, I'm gonna start again. Gotcha. Got it. Okay, cool. Perfect. 3, 2, 1, we are in. Was this Arteta's plan all the lot? What a... Alright, start again. Take 12. It's been a fantastic campaign despite the 1 defeat away from home. But wanna work... You can have a nice little outtakes from this. Alright, and we're in. Take 24. We're good, yeah? Alright, we're in. Arsenal qualified top of their Champions League group. They've made light work of it. It's been a pleasure breaking down some of the little tactical tweaks that we have done in our group stage to find ourselves back in the knockout round after so many years. But Arsenal certainly more equipped than ever. And is this midfield three with Havertz and Odegaard either side of Rice, the £170 million pair that we picked up this summer with that front three, was that all part of Mikel Arteta's plan all along? That's what we want to talk about in this Tactical Insight show, as well as other performances that deserve a lot of credit. But we start with the match stats, as always. A 6-0 win in which Arsenal had 14 shots, Lens had 6. We had 8 to their 3. By the way, I think all 6 might have come in that first half. I'm not sure if they had more than maybe 1, if at best, in that second half. Lens. Arsenal certainly tightened up, and you can see that because Lens had 53% of the ball across the game, but Arsenal's XG of 2.7 comfortably outdoing their 0.44. Now, we should really start there with how Lens actually approached this game, because Arsenal looked like they'd found fluidity. Arsenal looked like they had got into a rhythm again, and while they played with a 3-4-3, which suggests that they might have just dropped into a stubborn 5-4-1 shape. You see a little bit of that. I actually felt there was a willingness to get on the ball and play, to try and get their wing-backs up the pitch a touch, but it just meant that Arsenal, probably better than they have done in any Premier League game, this has just been a feature of Arsenal in the Champions League this season, found a lot of pockets. Jesus having a lot of joy, Martinelli and Saka always having the touchline, but Havertz there with Zinchenko coming inside as well as having his fun. Odegaard, but mainly Havertz. Havertz was finding a lot of pockets, as was Jesus. Rice, very comfortable. But the other thing they did really well, Arsenal, was on the overlap, which we're going to break down in a second. I just felt that there was a lot of space for Arsenal. They were able to just play a lot of their football pretty comfortably. There was a nice tempo. Arsenal were kind of going through the motion that first 10 minutes very nicely. Like, there was an energy that we didn't see at Brentford. And it kind of gets you wondering, how much of it is... Because it's hard to compare Brentford away to the team that finished second in, the French league last season, that are a Champions League side. There shouldn't be like a great gulf between them, but I'd argue that Brentford caused us a lot more problems, made it very hard to play through. Of course, we lost away at Lens, so we've got to remember that as well. But how much of it was it Arsenal getting, shaking off that rustiness from the international break that maybe we saw a little bit against Brentford? How much of it was it Lens being really quite naive and actually taking the game to us? I do think that was a part of it, because like I said, they did actually try to get on the ball and play. Arsenal was showing something on the counter-attack, which was great to see. But yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section below. How much of that was Arsenal being really good and Lens being really naive? I think a little bit of both. They were poor, but I think we made them look poor as well. One of the players that was a standout in this game was Tomiyasu. I thought he was brilliant. We've got his match stats here. 2 assists in the game, 3 chances he created. Actually, we're going to look at one of them in a second. He had 10 passes into the final third with 4 final third entries and 6 passes to Bukayo Saka. Why have I mentioned that? Because it's really good to see the link up. Oh, no, ignore me there. Really good to see the link up between Tomiyasu and Bukayo Saka combining. It's what you want to see. You want to see your fullbacks, especially Tomiyasu, who drops into this back three, but we've seen White do it, but was always offering an option for Saka last season. And you're wondering, okay, so maybe the plan hasn't changed so much, or maybe it's horses for courses, certain teams to open up more. Arteta and Arsenal are going to smell blood and know that they can actually have a real go and take the game to those teams. I thought Tomiyasu did that really well with Bukayo Saka, and we see that it wasn't just Tomiyasu combining one way, it was the other way as well. We've got this first chance of the game. This is at 0-0. By the way, I thought Havertz was really good, and we're going to talk about him in a sec. Now, Declan Rice has the ball here, and we're looking at the Havertz headed chance that goes wide before Arsenal get the opener through Havertz as well. So he was looking at our early goal threat. Rice plays this ball to Saka, and what I love about it is two things. Firstly, by playing the ball to Saka, you are giving Tomiyasu all the time to make that run. You could easily play it to Tomiyasu and then one more into Saka, but that's pedestrian, that's going through the motions. If you can cut that player out, you have given him the opportunity for that third man run to go forward, because he's not involved in this pass here, but he's still a part of the move. The second thing I love about it, and it's really hard to, I can't show you the broadcast image, but when you go watch the highlights, go have a little look at them on YouTube. Tomiyasu, when Rice has the ball in this position, Tomiyasu is there, he points. He points towards Saka, he says, give it here, I don't want it. Yes, I'm in space, yes, I could receive it, but I don't want it. Give it to my teammate, and then I will think 2 steps ahead. And that's something this Arsenal team do really, really well. They think steps ahead. So when this ball comes out to Bukayo Saka, Tomiyasu is reading the situation. Saka knows just to come aside. He's not going to get the beating of Haidara necessarily, but he's going to roll out to Tomiyasu, who whips into the box. Havertz with a really good back post run. Sort of back post run. He's actually quite deep. He's done really well to generate power and move that towards goal. The keeper's beaten, but he just doesn't quite hit the target. But I thought it was good from Kai Havertz, to be fair. That was a really kind of good bright start, nearly scoring, making the most of a good opportunity there. Arsenal could be 1-0 up. I wouldn't say should be 1-0 up, because it's actually quite a difficult chance. It's a really well-worked opening. But what you do see from Tomiyasu is he does it again. Where is it? The Ødegaard goal. And this time, slightly less going on screen, but I just want to really highlight the run of Tomiyasu again. Saka driving inside, similar things. Tomiyasu's come a long way. It's a real sprint to offer support to Bukayo Saka, and Ødegaard makes that late run to the back post and volleys it in. But the thing I love about Tomiyasu here is it's actually an area of his game I've been fairly critical of. It's actually an area of his game that I've said doesn't come as naturally to him as Ben White. Now, I didn't think it necessarily came naturally to Ben White until last season when he started doing it so well. You started actually thinking, maybe this is coaching. Tomiyasu, Ben White adding this overlapping element to their game. Maybe this is the way Mikel Arteta is working with his defenders, A, to be so solid out of possession, but also to know what to do when actually the wingers do need a little bit of support. Now, Arteta and Saka were both in the week saying, look, Saka's getting doubled up on, there's a lot of traffic. He used that analogy. He said, look, if I want to go 100 miles per hour down the motorway, it's hard to do if there's loads of traffic and taxis and buses or whatever. Look, we all get what he's trying to say. Teams are getting into low blocks and making it difficult. In this situation, Lons didn't. Arsenal had that free space. They had the freedom of the motorway to just drive 100 miles per hour, and boy, did they. 5-0 up by half-time. But on Tomiyasu, I don't want to just mention those moments in the overlaps. He picked out, you think he was in this area here when he picked out a really good cross to the back post. Jesus wins the header. There's Havertz to put it away. And of course, his sort of clearance switch cross to Martinelli. I mean, if FB Ref are sort of counting stats, that's both a shot-creating action, it's a switch, it's a cross, it's a clearance, it's everything, all in one kick of a ball. It's gone all the way out to Martinelli, and Martinelli, of course, has gone and scored, so he ends up with the 2 assists. Tomiyasu, I thought he was absolutely immaculate in this game, and to put up those stats in 45 minutes of football, because we always forget, he got yanked off. I mean, I was on Forever Arsenal saying, Kivior had a good cameo. Well, he had as much of a cameo as Tomiyasu, because they both played a half each. Now, I've touched on Tommy. I want to touch on Havertz as well, who I thought was fantastic. And again, I asked this question. Was this Arteta's plan all along? Let's not ignore some facts here. £35 million signing Ødegaard, £105 million signing Declan Rice, £65 million signing Havertz. That is around £200 million worth of talent in this midfield three alone. You have got to think that there is a longer term plan for all 3 of these players to be on the pitch at some point. You can't look at that and go, yeah, well, Rice doesn't really have a settled position, and Havertz, will be a bit of a squad option. He'll be a backup striker. He can play behind Ødegaard. He can maybe play as the 8 every now and again. There was surely a plan for something a little bit more long term. We explored that when we did all our In Focus videos about why we were signing these players. But I always just felt that Havertz wasn't doing enough to convince us in that area. So Rice played more as an 8 and Jorginho got minutes. But I actually thought this was a real level up on his performances, Havertz. And we've got a little bit of proof here. Let me get these stats up for you. We've got his stats against Lens, just a couple key ones, and the Premier League average per game. This all comes from FB Ref. Shot creating actions against Lens 3. He's averaging 1.74 in the league this season. 28 carries where he was averaging 26.7 in the league, and 4 take-ons in the game where he was averaging 1.1 in the Premier League. I know it's the Premier League, but that's obviously where we've seen him most. I think it's difficult in the Champions League, to be completely fair, but that is where we want those Premier League average numbers to come up to what we saw, because this was Kai Havertz getting on the ball, like showing really confident touches. Even when he lost possession, I didn't mind because I saw he was trying to do things and trying to play that form and confidence into himself, and I'm okay with that. But what I really liked about Havertz was off the ball, brilliant, but he's actually been very good off the ball all season. I actually think the thing that Chelsea fans said to us was, yeah, you're getting that typical kind of creator that, you know, just wants the ball at his feet, doesn't want to do the off the ball work. You can't say about Havertz from day one. He has been, you know, committed to the off-the-ball side of the game, and fair play to him. There was talks that he's a really kind of good presser, and we are seeing that at Arsenal, to be fair play to him. On the ball, though, what we saw is a confidence and a drive. When was it the Saka goal? So Martinelli has the sort of shot, or is deflected, comes into Saka. It is Havertz that has kind of got into this area. He's won the ball off. I think it might have been Mendy. He gets the ball off and he drives into that space and rolls it into the onrushing Martinelli. It's just good midfield play. It's just facilitating your wingers. It's winning the ball in the middle of the park, earning a transition for Arsenal, and then we go get a goal from it. That's all I need. I don't need him to get 8 goals, 7 assists in all competitions. I don't need him to be some really big creative outlet, because when you've got Saka, Martinelli who creates, Jesus who drops in, you've got Ødegaard on the pitch, there are creative outlets, especially with an overlapping Tomiyasu, Zinchenko who comes in. I just need Havertz to do something of what Xhaka was doing last season, which is facilitating the midfield play, robust in midfield, and then playing in that front three and keeping everything ticking. And I thought he did that really well. But that's a disservice to his performance to say that that's all he did, while it's all I want to see at the moment. He also got into sort of touchline areas and then drives on the edge of the area, found Ødegaard with a nice little cutback to him there as well. There were nice moments where he started to think, okay, he's finding that bit of confidence and he's feeling himself. He's showing some really nice bits of skill. There's a nice little drag back and roll into Jorginho, I think, towards the end of the game. And you thought, he's having fun out there, and good on Kai Havertz. He absolutely deserved to. Another player I want to talk about, and let's just reset this as well. Arsenal versus Lens, here we go. Is Gabi Jesus and how much he does for this team. I can only put it into words because I think in previous shows I've done a lot to show the way he combines with our wingers compared to Eddie and Trossard when they're in that 9. Though Trossard's far closer to Jesus. I've talked about, you know, we've broken down goals like away at Sevilla. There's not much more I can do to tell you that this guy brings players into play, and Arsenal a better team when he's there. His ability to chop and change just causes havoc and chaos. Defenders, not in like a... This is not a slight on Darwin Núñez, because I think he does a lot of really good off the ball work with his movement, whatever. But he doesn't cause chaos in the way Núñez does, where he's just a bit random and chaotic and kind of a pleasure to watch, though hilarious at the same time. Jesus causes chaos with the ball at his feet. When he's got it, it's chop, change, you know, taking the players out of the game. I'm not saying Núñez can't do that. If any Liverpool fans are watching this and are getting on to me, Jesus has this ability to, it feels like there's a calm, and then he just like body checks someone and he turns, and then he's running forward, and then you think he's going to shoot with his left, he feints, he drags it onto his right, and then he slips a pass through, whatever. He just causes mayhem, Jesus. I thought he was brilliant. I just don't think it's any coincidence whatsoever that we see this front 5 getting the goals and assists they did in the game. Have a little look at these numbers. Ødegaard with a goal and assist. Havertz with a goal and Ødegaard no assist. Havertz with a goal, no assist. Saka with a goal and assist. Martinelli a goal, no assist. Jesus a goal and an assist. They all contributed. Their numbers and output all went up in this game. Look, Lens played a part because of the way they, I think, tried to take the game to us to a degree, but I think you have to say those players as well, with Jesus up top and Havertz and Ødegaard in those 8s, it just felt like Arsenal clicked and had a fluidity, and fair play to them as well. So I go back to then my big question. My big question for everyone. Let's look at this 11 very quickly. Raya, we know everything that's gone on with Aaron Ramsdale. Tomiyasu, well, the debate, I mean, nothing's gone on with Ramsdale. You get what I'm trying to say. Tomiyasu, okay, maybe it could be White, but other than that, that's his preferred back four. He signs in Czech. He was massive for us last season. £105 million holding midfielder. Partey can't stay fit. Havertz, £65 million midfielder. His captain, and then our scintillating front 3. Is this Arteta's plan? Was this Arteta's plan all along? Let me know in the comment section below. When you look at the up-to numbers for Havertz, the goal contributions from that whole front 5, the 6-0 win in general, walking it in the Champions League, and a really crucial point that I probably should have mentioned before in this video, it's the first time that this 11 has gone out with this particular combination. Havertz floating there, Ødegaard floating there, Rice and Zinchenko, but the big thing is that front 5 that we're talking about right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. The connections between those, the 4 connections between that 5. It's the first time we've seen it. Was it Arteta's plan all along? I really want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is it the long-term identity for Arsenal? Does Havertz need a little bit more time? When Partey comes back, do we move Rice? What do we do? I want to know your thoughts. Arsenal make it comfortable in the Champions League. Well done to them. We've got Wolves on the weekend. Look forward to another Tactical Insight on Monday with Graham as well. Many thanks. Subscribe to the channel. Catch you in a bit.